Guys, welcome back to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. So, guys, it's still the off season, and right now I'm watching the Pro Bowl. I don't know if you guys are watching the Pro Bowl over the weekend. It's a little bit of fun. It's not how it used to be, guys, with the flag football event coming up in a few days' time. But just to pass the time until Super Bowl day next week, I'm watching the Pro Bowl. But I was scrolling through the internet like I always do every day, checking for Steelers news, Steelers articles, stuff like that. And I came across this. Greg Rosenthal, I think he's a dude for NFL Network. No idea who he is exactly, but I think he's one of the dudes for the NFL Network. And he made a list of the top 10 Super Bowl QBs of all time because now it's Super Bowl, Super Bowl hype, right? And look, this is his opinion. And I understand that everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But it seems like that Greg is not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, because both Big Ben and Terry Bradshaw have been left off the Super Bowl quarterback all-time list. Now, if you go for the list, you've got Tom Brady, of course. Tom Brady's up there. He's won, 7-2 or 7-3, something similar. He's won that damn many. You can't even keep up. Johnny Unitas, for sure. He's the outstanding, number one quarterback from back in the day. Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to that. We will get to that. Brett Favre was a legend. Steve Young, John Elway, Mahomes. So you probably can't argue with a lot of those names, like maybe, John Elway, and right now Mahomes is playing fantastic football. Or Tom Brady is right at the top. Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, the original, he's the GOAT from the Colts, and he's a, Super Bowl champion. But one I have issue with is Aaron Rodgers. Why is Aaron Rodgers here with one victory? Why do they have Aaron Rodgers here as a Super Bowl quarterback all time, like in your top 10? He should not be there. He should be replaced with Big Ben or Terry Bradshaw. Now, I'll be honest, guys, I was born in 1989, so I never saw a live game from Terry Bradshaw. However, I do know the Steelers' history. And the history says that Bradshaw is a four-time, I'll say it 4 times, a 4-time Super Bowl champion. Now, of course, the game was different back then in 1975, 1976, 1979, 1980. We're talking like almost, 50-odd years ago. That's a long time ago. Pittsburgh Steelers beat Miami. Pittsburgh Steelers beat Minnesota, Dallas twice, and LA. The game was different. Okay, the game was very different. But how do they snub Bradshaw off this list? He's a legend for the Steelers. He won 4 Super Bowls, and Big Ben won 2. And on the list, they have Aaron Rodgers only winning 1. So I can agree with Brady. I can agree with Johnny Unitas. I can agree with Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino. I can agree with all these guys. Brett Favre, possibly, maybe in that situation, you would put in a Big Ben where Aaron is and put in Terry Bradshaw where Brett Favre is. I can agree with some of these names. I can agree with Patrick Mahomes. But what I don't agree with is leaving out Terry Bradshaw. He won 4 Super Bowls. Now, some will say, well, back in the day, it was more about running and defense, and it wasn't coming down to the quarterback skill level. At the same time, look at his stats. He did pretty good for back in the day. Overall, he had 932 yards. So in 4 Super Bowls, averaging about 211 yards per game. He had 9 TDs, with his best outing being in Super Bowl 1979 versus Dallas, where he got 4 TDs and 1 interception. So how are you going to leave him out? I don't know. Maybe there's a bit of bias there. And then when you also go back to the list, like they leave out Bradshaw, which is crazy to me. You leave out a legend that is the Steelers legend, Bradshaw. But then you go back to the list, right? And there's no Big Ben. And this one doesn't make any sense. If you're going to put Aaron Rodgers in, of course, Aaron Rodgers, they defeated the Steelers. Rashad Mendenhall fumbled the ball, even though he says he didn't fumble the ball. He fumbled the ball. Game was on the line. Ended up losing the game. And Aaron Rodgers won his 1 and only Super Bowl. He's only been to 1. Rodgers, in my opinion, is a bit overrated. Like, he's only been to 1, and he walks around like he's king of everything. Now, I was going to swear there, but I can't swear. He walks around with a crown on his head. He says, I own the Bears, I own the Vikings, I own the Lions, I'm the best. He's only won 1 Super Bowl. How is he there and not Big Ben? Big Ben's won 2 and lost 1. And there was a big chance that Big Ben could have won 3 for himself and 7 for the Steelers. So Aaron Rodgers sitting at 6, I don't agree with it. I think that Big Ben should be taking his spot. Big Ben has 2 Super Bowls, and of course, that magic catch with Holmes in the end zone. And of course, that was in his rookie year. The rookie year wasn't the best year. I understand that. The defense came out and played good football, but you can only go with what you can go with. So I don't know what do you guys agree with this? I don't agree with it. Greg, I think you're off your rocker. I think you've put in Aaron Rodgers way too high, and you should have put in Terry Bradshaw or Big Ben. Dead set. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what you would have done. Who else you would add to the list? Would you add in Big Ben? Would you add in Terry Bradshaw? I think a lot of you guys would say yes. Come on, man. How do you put in Aaron Rodgers at 6, only winning 1, where Big Ben has won 2 and had a pretty good career? But it does say Super Bowl, quarterbacks of all time. But you leave out 2. The Steelers have 6 Super Bowls, and you leave out both quarterbacks. It doesn't make too much sense. Alrighty, guys. As always, thank you for checking out the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. We really do have a lot of fun on this channel. So leave the comments, leave the likes, and hit that sub on the way out. All right, guys. I'll see you later.